Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome once again to the underground lair where I create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. Today we're going to be working on some aliens. But I got a topic, something I want to talk about, something that's kind of been on my mind, and I'm sure you guys go through the same thing, but it's about comparing yourself to other artists. And you know what they say, compare and despair. So yeah, it can kind of bum you out. But can it be a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. While I show you the process of how I ink this. This is the little alien guy I was talking about. This space astronaut guy caught in the tentacles of some vicious aliens. You're going to see how this comes together. And while we talk about the topic today, so let's get to it. Okay, so just sitting down at the art desk to ink in this sketch that I did of, it's like an astronaut. He's definitely in trouble. He's somewhere out in space. Maybe some kind of he comes upon some kind of asteroid which ends up being alive or something, and these tentacles come out and they're kind of pulling him in. And basically, this was an Inktober prompt, and I think it was either scared or fear. There was a couple prompts. I think this one might have been fear, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, because I talked a little bit about fear on the last episode when I talked about art block, and I was saying how I think art block is really less about just laziness and more about fear of, you know, not creating something that people are going to like, fear of you not liking what you created or going to create, and somehow that stifles your creativity and prevents you from actually creating. So we all have kind of these fears, or we always have these worries with art. At least most artists do. Most artists I know, myself included. And I was kind of thinking about that, things that kind of bother me in particular, things that I'm working on trying to get over, or hurdles that I have and everything that I want to, jump over and all this stuff. So one of the things that comes up from time to time, when people are commenting on my videos and things like that, a lot of times I get the comment, and it is a compliment, but sometimes it kind of it kind of brings you down after it. But it's always like, oh, your stuff's really great, we love it, or I love it, you should have way more subs, and I get that so much. And it makes me stop and think, I've been doing YouTube for 2 years at least now, and I mean, I guess I got a fair amount of subs. It is all relative. I mean, there's people out there with hundreds of thousands of subs, and there's people out there with hundreds of subs. And I don't know, I'm wondering that for as long as I've been doing it, sometimes I wonder, it doesn't seem like I have the sub count that maybe I should for doing it as long. And you start thinking about, well, am I doing it wrong, or just people don't dig what I'm putting out there, or what? And there's a lot of different reasons, and I think it's different for everyone. And I know some things that I can do to kind of improve that. One of them is to do, there's things like do more tutorials and things like that, because I think that would bring more people to this channel, because you gotta give, I try to impart some, in quotes, I'm putting quotes up, wisdom about art or whatever, just because I've been doing this for a while. I don't know how eloquently I can get my points across, but I try my best to kind of give some hints and some knowledge as far as that goes. But I think more or less people want to actually see how to draw things and stuff. So I do want to do that. And I've got a whole kind of laundry list of things that I'm going to, start integrating into the channel. I'm really excited about that. We're getting close to the new year and everything. And with that, there's kind of that whole start of the new year, and you want to revitalize things. So I'm right now, because it's a couple months away, I'm starting to think about that and some new things I want to do for the channel. So we'll see if that kind of helps things along. But it's I guess it's sort of slow going. As I'm recording this now, I've got, I don't know, like close to 1,700 subscribers, I guess. And again, been doing this for 2 years, but I've got a lot of content. I mean, that's the thing, because the amount of content I put out, you think, well, geez, man, I've got hundreds of videos, and I'm always putting out videos. At least, I think there was a couple weeks ago that I skipped. I had some things going on, but for the most part I put out at least one, if not two videos a week, so fairly consistent, and it's been that way since I started. So so you start to think about stuff like that, and it kind of gets you down. But I'm in it for the long haul. And I started thinking about comparing yourself to others, because I can look at other people that have been doing it less time and have way more subscribers. I can look at it as that type of things. Maybe people have been doing it longer than me. Maybe they don't have as many subscribers. So you compare yourself, and then you kind of run into some issues and things, because it's not always good to do those kinds of comparisons, because again, like I said, it is all relative. I mean, but and then I start to think about it, like, okay, an average video that I put out gets, again, on average, maybe about 100 views, let's say. But when you think about it, and maybe that's not that big to a lot of people or whatever, and I think some people just don't understand how hard it is, because I don't think a lot of people that are doing YouTube on a regular basis are the ones saying you should have way more subscribers. I think it's more people that they subscribe to a lot of people that are have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and it just seems like it's easy. It's not that easy, or else I would have that many subscribers. But anyway, but say I've got 100 views, all right? When you think about it, if I was at a party and I'm talking to people, and I'm talking about my art and everything, if I had 100 people listening, that's pretty amazing. And you say, if you're a person that maybe you're just starting out, maybe if you're lucky, you get like 10 views on a video. Well, again, put that into perspective. If you were out there just on the street talking to people, and 10 people are listening to what you're saying, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's one of the benefits of the internet. So I'm trying to kind of look at the positives and things when I do start thinking about, well, maybe my channel could be a little bigger or whatever. So that's one way. But there's that whole compare and despair. A lot of times, you can look at it two different ways. You can look at people who are doing artwork, and they're just way beyond what you could ever think to achieve. And you can look at that, and you can get frustrated, you can get jealous or envious, or you can look at that as a way to motivate you and think, well, here's something, that maybe I can achieve that, maybe or not, but I can try, and I can move towards that to better myself. And looked at all these people doing amazing work, but instead of getting bummed out about it, I know that's kind of hard, because it's hard for me too, but instead of get bummed out, look at it as an inspiration, and try to kind of see maybe kind of what they do and everything, and learn from them. And back to the talking about doing tutorials. If those particular people have videos out there, check them out, see how they do it and everything, and learn from that. And you can learn way more from people that are better at a thing than you are, than you can with people that are behind you. That's why I like to surround myself with artists that are way better than me, if possible. I do the Artcasters every week with Jeff Lafferty and Kevin Cross, and sometimes I think, well, I'm kind of I think to myself, well, I'm kind of the weak link in this chain. Here's Jeff, who's this amazing painter, and Kevin, who's I am so enamored by the way he inks and the feathering he does with the inks and things like that. And just as a whole, just both of them just great artists. So sometimes I look at their stuff and it's like, man, I wish I could do that kind of stuff. But we all have our strengths, and I definitely, I have my own strengths and things like that. But it's good to surround yourself with people like that, because people who are that one or two or however many steps ahead of you, and I don't want to say it's like you're following in their coattails or whatever, because we all do different things, but it is cool to surround yourself with people that are doing awesome work, and that can kind of rub off on you and inspire you and everything like that, because some people have this scarcity mindset where I guess it bums them out, or it's frustrating if people find success, or they've achieved success, or they're way better than them, or because some people have an attitude that, well, since they're already way ahead and they're already super successful, I mean that means that, you know, that spot's taken. But, you know, it doesn't work like that. It isn't like because one person wins at something, another person has to lose. Not in art. I mean, there's room at the top for everyone. So instead of looking at people who have found success in art and saying, well, they've kind of reached the top, so now there's less room for me. No, look at that as a roadmap. Here's somebody who has achieved what you want to do, so you know that it's possible, and you can do the same thing. It's kind of, you know, the rising tide raises all ships. When the more artists that succeed in this business, the more room there is going to be for other people to succeed. And it's more the opposite when people kind of undercut their prices and things, people that kind of drag people down. So when people are successful, when people are able to make a living and prosper as artists, that makes it better for us down as people that kind of want to be at that point someday. Another thing people do in comparing themselves, sometimes people will compare themselves to people who are sort of behind them as far as art, who maybe skills quite aren't as good as them, and say, oh well, yeah, I can feel confident in the fact that, yeah, I'm better than that guy. I mean, I kind of hear that thing about, you know, it's like, well, you know, if Rob Liefeld can break into comics, then it should be easy to me. But it's, you know, and I'm just kind of repeating what people say. I'm not here to bash Rob Liefeld or whatever. But you don't know how he broke into comics. You know, I mean, you may. Haven't done enough research. But maybe this guy's like a super cool guy to work with. Maybe people just like him or whatever. Because a lot of times that has a lot to do, not just the art, but that type of thing. But whatever the case is, you don't want to compare yourself with, you know, with the kind of that lowest common denominator, because that's not going to help you improve. If you're constantly looking at people whose work aren't as good as yours, you're not going to improve. I'm sure maybe, you know, maybe that'll make you feel better. I don't know, but to me, you want to look at people that are better yourself and compare yourselves to them. The other thing that you want to do, I think, in my opinion, is, you know, compare yourself to yourself. Compare yourself to who you were before, and the artwork that you've created in the past, and where it's come and how you've improved. And you know, I think that's a more healthy way of comparing yourself, because, you know, we all do it. It's difficult. I mean, I could sit here and say, you know, don't compare yourself to this person, or compare yourself to this people, or whatever. But you know, and it's almost like you know what you should do. You know, I say all this stuff, but I still fall into those traps. I still look at people whose artwork is just brilliant, and I'm like, oh man, it's like, oh man, what am I doing? Why am I even bothering? But then again, I know if I stop to think about my, you know, situation, I know that you know, that I mean, there's always going to be people better than you. I mean, unless you're like somebody like Michael Jordan, who's kind of reached that top of the top of your field. I mean, as good as you can be, no one's ever going to, you know, I mean, what is that? Like, I mean, the chance of that happening is just so minuscule. And even then, I think people like that, I think they're going to, again, compare themselves to themselves and try to improve and be better and everything. And maybe a sports analogy probably wasn't the best way to phrase that, because I think in sports I think it's very different. In sports, it's very much a competition. You know, you're competing against other teams. That's what the whole thing is about. You're maybe even competing sort of privately against your team, or trying to be the best or whatever. But it is very much a competition, where I don't look at art as a competition, and I recommend that you don't either. It's very, you know, art is very much a community, and if you're watching these videos, if you follow me, if you follow anyone, you realize that artwork is there's other people kind of in the trenches doing the same thing that you're doing, and you can share stories, you can do all that. And that's why I don't think art is a competition, and I don't think it should be looked at as a competition. I think there's a difference between a competitor and a creator. Obviously, artists are creators. You're creating thing. It shouldn't matter, you know, how good. In a sense, it shouldn't matter how good somebody else is, or maybe they aren't as good or whatever. That shouldn't matter to you personally. Personally, I think you're now. You want to look at stuff and you want benchmarks to know certain things you want to achieve, and what you can do to better yourself and all that. But in the grand scope of things, I think you want to focus on yourself and how to make yourself better, not because you want to be better than somebody else or whatever, but because you wanted to achieve something in art, whether you want to be successful and be able to prosper as an artist, whether you just want to create great art, or if you want to create better art than you did last week or the week before, or whatever your personal goals tend to be. And if that means looking at great artists to get inspired, yeah, by all means, I do that all the time. But just try not to get frustrated, because everyone learns things differently. Everyone has their own strengths, their own weaknesses. I guarantee you that brilliant artists that you think creates all this amazing stuff, there's something, I don't know what it is, but there's probably something you can do better than that artist. So everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. So keep that in mind, and look up to great artists, but don't get frustrated. Try to aspire to do that type of thing or something in that realm, but don't compare yourself. Definitely don't compare yourself to artists that are behind you. But then again, like I said, don't compare yourself to them, because maybe that's kind of moving backwards. But maybe everyone's got their own strengths. Like I said, maybe that person that maybe's not quite at your level, because there are people that maybe haven't quite achieved what I have, that are in the community, and I learn from them all the time. As they're learning, maybe I pick up things that I forgot about or whatever. So surround yourself with a lot of people and try to find people's strengths, and see how that can help you elevate your art. But anyway, so let's kind of move back to kind of the drawing here. Just filling in some blacks here. I'm going to add some stars and kind of make this kind of space, scape. But yeah, a lot of fun with these Inktober drawings. I'm enjoying doing it. Some better than others. I think sometimes I have to kind of go through them and talk about what I liked about certain ones. Maybe that could be the next video. I don't know. There's a bunch of other ideas I have that I want to do. But if you have ideas, like I said, I am getting to a point where I'm starting to think of ways to improve my channel to hopefully kind of boost that subscriber content and get more people interested in the channel. I was gonna say channel, and then I was gonna say challenge, but I said channel. Anyway, that's what happens. The channel. So if you guys have things you want to see that you'd like to see me do, let me know. If you've got ideas that you think might work for the channel, let me know. If you've got questions are so welcome, because that gives me ideas for other things to talk about. If you guys have questions, because it's always, every time I sit down to do one of these videos, I think, well, what am I going to talk about today? And sometimes, even though I'm trying to jot down a list and I've got ideas for all these videos, it always helps to get a perspective of people. So, leave a comment, subscribe if you aren't already, if you want to hear more of this stuff or see some of the cool new stuff I've got planned. Just so you won't forget about that, go ahead and just hit that subscribe button. Let's grow this channel, because the bigger it grows, the more invested I am. Not that I'm not invested now, I totally am. I've been doing this for a while. I'm going to keep continuing to do it, but it always helps to have that accolations and stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for following, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys later. That is all.
Thank you.